Miss Lain is up to some creepy things. It's a bunch of stuff's going on that I'm at a complete loss for, but we're just gonna dive on in and pray it all starts really unfolding in a good way. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you like it all, like and subscribe. You to me, feel free to stick around for the discussion, leave comments with this episode of series. Let's go to episode 9 of Serial Experiments Lain. No, we're not gonna go with that. If you don't believe, technically he won't be because you don't believe there's a... whatever. Okay. Protocol. What the fuck is this? Oh no. UFO.
それが何であったかは未だに証明されることのないまま憶測が事実となり噂が歴史となっていった。
Let's go! Bearsuit Lain is back. I've been waiting for so long. So much shit in your room you can't even see the door anymore. Ah. This is the kid with the striped shirt that that lady kept talking about and all the things when she was listening in on them, right? But it's an alien. What we would know to be one. Direct correlation to unidentified object crashing, no knowing of what came of it.
1984年、テレビのプロデューサーであったジェイム・シャンデラの自宅に匿名の人物から茶封筒に入った未現像のフィルムが届けられた。そこに映されていたのがいわゆる MJ12 文書と呼ばれるもので。
Okay. I don't know what that means, but okay.
ロズウェル事件当時の CIA 長官ロスコー・ヒレンケッターを筆頭とする12人のメンバーが大統領直属の機関として地球外生命体と密約を結んでいたというのがその内容であった。この文書に書かれたトルーマン大統領の署名は他の文書からそっくりコピーされたものと認められている。
We're literally just getting like a history lesson now. I don't know what's going on. The cuts are crazy. Also, this shot looks incredible. Something that happened that does something that didn't. You cover it up. Absolutely, especially when it comes to knowing of people and the things you know. Possibly creation of the Wired. No, she just appears that way. This episode's so weird.
マイクロフィルム化された情報を映し出すシステムだった。彼が構想したのは情報の圧縮と迅速なアクセス。
Ahead of its time.
以前にブッシュは原爆実験マンハッタンプロジェクトの指揮をすると同時に現在のマルチメディアの基礎を生み出していたのだった。
Damn, what a guy. He was really ahead of his fucking time. Dude had crazy visions. Hello, Lain. Welcome back. I don't remember that. You were not the wild version. It has the logo.
インディオの麻薬
Nah, let's just go to somebody else, sure.
宇宙的存在者とコミュニケーションネットワークを介して接続していると考えた。彼を導く存在をリリーは ECCO 地球暗号制御局と呼んだ。水中のかなり広範囲なネットワーキングを可能としている生物である。
Instead, we utilize a full server, and we have knights as our beings. So it seems like all creations and things from history at specific or certain levels and things that people possibly envisioned are almost all coming to life in a different fashion within the Wired here.
約束したよね。
That's a crazy look.
はあ、何を？
デートするって。デートするって。
何言ってんのよ。太郎、本
したっけ？
Did I?
約束
ねえ、してないしてない。
言ったとしても、俺がデートしたかったのは
Yeah, we want the wild lane.
レイン。
バカ、太郎。
一緒なの。私は私。一人しかいない。
I don't know about that. Jeez.
太郎くん。
これ液体炭素？
Pay attention to me and not my equipment.
ナイツなんだよね。
レインだ。
ワイヤードの中に私がもう一人いるかどうか。それは私にはわからない。
What you do?
でもこのリアルワールドに私がもう一人いるなんてことは絶対にない。
Is there?
肉体を持つもう一人が姿を見せたのはあのクラブだけ。あそこにいた人の記憶だけを操作すればいいんだよね。
俺そんなことを。うわ、
Well, look at the time. Gotta go. Well,
プレイトラック44。
just putting on our battle music.
うわ、
Yeah, what's happening?
とうとう
だから今のうち。
Lifeless, dude. Ah.
ピー了解。ピーピーピーただいま更新中。ピーピ
So uncomfortable every time we see her.
ーストップ。
I was vibing with that.
じゃ
No.
ないよ。でも JJ のとこに流されてくるデータにそういうエフェクトがあるっていうのは知ってた。
このチップをインストールしたら私はどうなるところだったの？
Probably would have blew
自
up.
殺？それとも正気を失うの？
知らないってば。
All of the
俺み
above.
たいなガキが正規のナイツになれるわけないじゃん。俺はただの
どうなっちゃうのかな。
これは副発生メモリーだよ。すでにある記憶を
Mmm.
上書きする。
どんな記憶？
知らない。ナイツはただのクラッカーじゃないんだぜ、レイン。
What do you mean by that? What is that?
とだからナイツが関心を持つ。ナイツはたった一つだけしかない真実を事実とするために戦う行使者なんだ。
よくわからない。たった一つの真実って何？
だから俺は正規のナイツじゃないからさ。
I just can't help and spread the word.
これはマジだぜ。真実は真実だからこそ強いんだ。真実だからこそそれは正義なんだ。説得力あるだろ。
It's an interesting
そんな
way.
真実欲しいと思わない？デートだもんな。俺だって男だからよ。
Uh, What? All right, whatever. I don't know. Ted
バニ
Nelson.
バー・ブッシュそしてジョン・シ
We're all over the place here. Oh, no.
ードア・ネルソンは軌道上に静止衛星の巨大な電子図書館を打ち上げ電波と電話回線によって地球上のどこからでもどんな端末でもそれが利用できるデータベースを作る構
All right, that's a great idea. Ahead of your time, bro.
一切の文字文化が永遠になくなることがないと言われる猛虎の理想郷それがザナドゥであるそれをこの世界に具現しうる思想こそハイパーテキストでありテッド・ネルソンはその考案者として歴史に名を残すだろう
Memory check is crazy. So she being brought into a family by them. An assumption would be wiped memory, start from scratch, and then she believes everything. Yeah. Seeing things you never... Oh, that's cool.
それが私そう
Yep.
これが私じゃああの人たちは誰私はあなたなんだから知らない
If you don't know, I don't know. No, it's not. I don't think it is. You're essentially the same. You'd have to ask the others who they are.
地球の脳波は人類にどれだけの影響を及ぼしているのか未だに分かってはいない
Oh, that's just wonderful. That's
地球の人口はやがて脳内のニューロンと同じ数に達するダグラス・ラシコフは地球上の人間同士がネットワークで相互接続することにより地球自身の意識をも覚醒させうると主張している、ニューロティックに進化を遂げており人の脳内のシナプスにつながれたそれと同じく地球そのものがニューラルネットワークと化していると言える
I don't know about this one. Music hit a different this episode.
たった一つの真実神様
そう僕だ
That's what they want you to believe.
立花総研の主任研究員だったエイリ・マサミは地球を覆うニューラルネットワーク仮説をさらに進化させ地球上の人間は全てデバイスすらも必要なくワイヤレスネットワーク上に無意識下に配置されるという仮説を発表した
Literally tapped in without knowing you're tapped in.
シューマン共鳴ファクターを独断により暗号化し書き加えていた
It's the 7th gen. I actually can't remember the gen numbers they talked about. I think we're still on 7 though.
その1週間後エイリ・マサミは山手線上で歴史体として発見された
Damn. Why is it here then? Why is it here? Okay. God, why do I do this to myself? I gotta be more awake for this. I don't think I can fully keep up with the brain. I think this will be something I can connect and appreciate a lot more after I'm done yapping about nonsense here, and then also when I rewatch it, having the knowledge of I think what they were trying to set up, and then really putting all those pieces together. So as like the initial here's my first reaction and thoughts on it type of thing might come off a little wrong or weird until I can get to that part, but I think it's a very interesting display for what they do, because it's essentially a info dump episode styled almost like a recap, if kind of felt like, despite us not knowing any of this stuff, right? It's just the way that it was kind of edited together makes it feel that way. But it's really intriguing because of the way that they do it, almost like it's some sort of documentary, almost like you're watching like a YouTube video or like a science like video or something along those lines, which is pretty cool because it actually it does it too in a way that's like a game or something. If you're playing like some sort of storytelling game or something where they give you a bunch of background information and then they drop you into the middle of like whatever that thing kind of was, and it's like, all right, now go explore and figure out like everything and see how everything kind of unfolded on your own without just hearing like the overview of it, which is almost what it felt like, going from like this narration moments of explaining like these scenarios and these things and then just dropping you into a moment that semi connects in some sort of way, right? Talking about all the extraterrestrial things and all that, and then just dropping us in and having an alien kind of observe on and be with us in Lain, right? Talking about Eri and him and, you know, what his plans were for the creation, connecting of the minds and everything, like all the neurons and stuff, right? And then at the end, after being like, oh, he's dead, just having him like pop up right in front of him, right? Like just all of these things. And we did that like 7 different times, showing or talking about something and displaying relevant information, talking about or showcasing ways that you can kind of cover up or manipulate or do things regarding history and information and alter all of that stuff, and then put a item basically in possession of Lain, put that right in front of us as somebody who is actively trying to go through this and intrigued in these sort of things. It's a big awakening almost of an episode for her, really figuring out a bunch of information or being kind of confronted with these things of what exactly she's trying to do here, as she fully has like almost awakened herself, going from this lifeless, what we'd assume kind of empty vessel of a body that they kind of presented with her and brought her into this family for whatever the reason and however that origins and everything kind of came about, to now becoming fully aware and awake with who she is and what this whole scenario actually is going on around her, and really trying to dig deep and uncover the truth within it. And it's pretty sick for that. Like I said, we're tripping heavy right now, so we're just gonna skim on through the episode. Yeah, you know, of course, if you want to be free from suffering, you got to believe in God. If you don't believe in him, he's always by your side. That's just not true in the slightest. I get it from the perspective of a believer telling you, regardless if you do or don't, he's always by your side and he's always there for you. And then, but anybody else who's not some sort of believer, doesn't believe in it doesn't fucking matter, because if you don't believe him, there's nobody by your side. So you're just spewing a bunch of bullshit. But it works in correlation to like whatever we're doing here with the series, so we can't really say anything on that, I guess. Yeah, so there's basically a bunch of shit that they drop a bunch of knowledge and things that start her in the head a little bit. We showcase random thing dropping. What exactly is this item? Where is this coming from? Nobody knows what it is. It was kind of covered and hidden up. Oh, here you go. Here's a fucking alien looking on and observing onwards to you. What exactly his role or relevance is, and it might not even be real, right? Like this might not be a thing, and it could just be the mind being altered and fucked with so hard within the Wired, and what it's actually doing and the end goal of it starting to take effect onto a variety of people we've talked about, or we've had somebody talk about before, when we're observing and listening in onto whatever these thoughts and stuff that these people were having about seeing this strange child like thing kind of in their room with these striped shirt and everything, likely assuming that to be what this alien is. So it's a occurrence and thing that a variety of other people are actually seeing, making Lain not to be the special one in this situation. But also doesn't mean that, you know, the aliens came down here and they took control of us and we're just a pawn in their big old game that they're playing here. I mean, it could actively be that, and they're just the observers in this situation, kind of manipulating and altering everything that we do. Sure. But we could just not have to go that route either. And we could just go that this is like some sort of side effect or some sort of illusion and thing that shows itself to kind of occur. But also we're playing with the idea throughout this episode, and I guess the other ones too, of trying to rewrite history and trying to overwrite things and alter and change everything, for what people actually know and believe and what actually occurred and happened. And if we start it with a scenario that happens before of us being like, oh, this thing crashed and nobody knew what it was, and nobody's allowed to know what it is, and then we go into the next section and they start talking about this document, and all these people came forward and they had this whole group, and then, oh, actually the president signed off and he's the only one who can actually know, but actually that was a forged signature and none of that's actually real, and that isn't the case at all, and this is just a copy of all of this. And it's like, if we're playing into that too, it could just be massive manipulation on the front of literally everybody. So possibilities of, random person or godlike figure within Wired kind of altering and causing manipulation of this through object that we end up getting to see later, seemingly having ability to the knights themselves, could be doing that and could be altering the things and stuff that others are seeing in the accounts of history and everything else. I don't know. But it's feeling like we got some weird things kind of going down, like the special organization only answerable to the president. But in fact, all of this was just copied directly from something else with the signature and everything else. This is a beautiful shot. Like, this is actually really quality and looks extremely well done. We get to see that a little bit more as we kind of connect to the Wired. I've been here since the beginning. The flow of information and the way that things kind of work, and how just because one person knows something or hears something or sees something doesn't mean that the other person does. And because that one person can actually obtain that info, they can spread it to a variety of other people, and people become aware of these preconceptions and stuff of you as a person, and even just your existence, while you're still not understanding at all of who they are, anything either, which is a weird thing. And that's just kind of how the flow of things work. If we do create this grand thing, right, and all the neurons, and we're trying to connect everybody in some sort of way, and we essentially become one at some sort of point here, we can have this flow of information. It doesn't necessarily mean that things are going to communicate back throughout each other. And here we can kind of see an example of that, with everybody being aware of this figure, something that is like Lain. And even think about it in the situation of like a godlike figure, right? You have these assumptions that that person knows and takes account for and understands who everybody is, and that's like the typical thing that you kind of go over, and they can just see and observe everything. But if we're being a little bit more honest with it, usually if you do have somebody at a higher level, and even if we do want to put somebody in that sort of situation, doesn't mean that they actively can look down and fully observe and know everybody and everything, in the same sort of way that these other people have these kind of ideas and thoughts about you instead. Everybody just disappearing completely on her. We go a little bit more into another situation. And it's all creation of what they're trying to do, right? It's all these different people throughout the years who have these thoughts and these ideas, and all of this stuff combined together can create what we end up knowing today. It led to what this guy at the end ended up figuring out and wanting to create, which ended up becoming what the Wired is, right? And creation of the connection of all the neurons as well. Like, it created all of this due to exactly what all these people before him ended up kind of believing, due to things that he probably read and understood and maybe thought of what their goals were. Maybe he has his own, but he ended up taking inspiration and stuff through them. All of this stuff leads in order directly to what we end up getting to. You forgot this here on the floor yesterday. She's like, what? That was me? What the fuck are you completely talking about? And he ends up having this. It's like, well, this is a big thing for us, but it's a little bit concerning. I would want to plug it in, but we end up finding out a little bit later. Maybe that's not the right thing to do. And this is like an interesting thing with Lily here, and him having this idea of these extra like terrestrial beings kind of coming in and guiding him, almost utilizing the waves and the communication and stuff directly through the dolphins and through all of these widespread things, right? We're having a situation where we're creating like this big thing like the Wired, where everybody can connect regardless of kind of where you are. But also we have a situation where we have these things like these alien like figures and stuff who can come in and kind of observe us and almost dictate and alter the things that we're kind of thinking or believing, or the path and stuff that we're on within our life. This scene I don't fully grasp or remember. I guess I remember her or him asking her out but I don't remember what else came out of that conversation actually. So I don't know exactly, but this seems a little weird. And he's like, I want the other Lain, and she's like, no, that one doesn't exist. And then he's being all weird, the typicals that we've been getting. Very excited and happy about this whole situation and everything that he has, or she has, completely set up here, until she's like, oh, you're trying to pull a fast one on me. You're actually one of the knights. You've wanted all of this stuff to go down completely. There's no other me's here in this real world, and the other one only appears at the club, which is like weird because I can't remember. That's the problem. We've seen them in so many different locations and so many things, and we've had that understanding that every time she goes to the club, or a variety of times, that other version comes out. But then what was that situation when, she switched up completely when she was in the lab and she was getting confronted by all the other guys, and a couple of the other times that we've seen where she's completely snapped or changed exactly who she is or the way that she's acting or looking. So I don't know about that, unless maybe she's saying that the other one, the body only appears in the club, and that's the only place that he would know her from, or would be able to know of anything. But I don't know. So unless it's an entire separate entity, and my assumption the entire time was they were, but maybe they're completely separate, and then when she just switches personalities and stuff slightly, in those any given moments, could just be like an actual personality switch that she's kind of going through. I don't know. Finally happening. Oh my god, it's almost over. And it's like such a weird dynamic. The parents have always been so weird. The sister too. The way that I don't even know what to fucking make of her here. As Lain puts on her battle music and goes to fucking beat the shit out of this guy. What would have happened to me if I installed this? Would I have killed myself? I do not know. This here overwrites existing memories, which is something that she's been going out of her way and attempting to do. It's something that we even saw glimpses of in the previous episodes, and the things that she's trying to erase and take out from people's minds, and the things that ended up just happening before. It's something that has been a common occurrence and thing throughout history. It's the use of social media and stuff nowadays, and the deletion of lots of information, trying to alter and skew the things that people actually believe in, what that history actually is. It's the covering up and creating fake documents, or not allowing other people to observe and see certain things that happen, and release this information to the public in any sort of way. Ways to hide and cover plenty of things and alter what they actually know or believe. It's ways to announce things to the public, whether you're being truthful or not, so that you alter the ways that people believe and see things. It's a constant occurrence and a constant thing, but the knights seemingly having the ability fully here to go out of their way and constantly overwrite these things and alter and change things to benefit themselves the most. The knights are users who are fighting to make the only truth there is into a reality, which I don't know what that means, but the assumption, I guess, would be not allow all these altercations that other people and stuff have kind of been putting out there, and instead allow it to fit one sort of narrative that best benefits themselves, or best benefits this god that they're kind of following behind. I don't fully know, but all right. She's gonna be jealous, and then he does this, and I don't even know what to make of this scene. I literally don't have a read on it at all, but is what it is. It's Utopia, where all these cultures and everything can never be lost. Yeah, he goes down as the originator. I mean, that's the thing. But then we get to see him. We get to see this. This is like the whole scene. So the assumption is we're seeing these guys, and I wonder if these are the same guys from the lab that we ended up running into before. And they seemingly bring Lain in, and they take her in as if she's like their newfound daughter, and they now have to look completely after her, which would make sense for neglection purposes, or lack of being able to connect in some sort of way. And they're tasked with kind of taking her on, bringing her in, see her room's completely normal, so you can see that things were entirely different at a different point. Yeah, I'm you. Who are you? I wouldn't know. If you don't know, I don't know, because I have nothing. It's essentially a version that's wiped completely. No memories, nothing going on in the brain either. And all of that starts from scratch. But then that's why she wants to kind of believe that she's normal and everything's not a lie, as she constantly calls out here. And that's why when we get questioned about the dad and the mom and them being your real parents, and asking anything about them, you're unable to fully answer that instead. But see, now I feel weird, because didn't we have the flashbacks, and wasn't she like really young in them? I don't know. I don't remember in like one of those episodes. So now maybe my whole thought process on that's fucked up and wrong. Talking about what the human brains, the brain waves and the neurons is what we end up talking about. So the plan seemingly is to connect all these people, similar in some sort of way of what we did with the old guy that we met and like what his creation and everything that he was doing, and he was trying to get everybody almost onto one page through the utilization of whatever he was, and he was frying them in the process. Seemingly we're still actively working on that, but trying to do it in some sort of wireless connection way, which is what the Wired ended up becoming, which seemingly is also fucking with people very heavy, as we can see. It doesn't seem like it's too great of a thing. Eri Masami, who is likely, I'm believing, the dude that we end up seeing at the end, who ended up getting killed after his hypothesis and advancements that he ends up having of trying to plug everybody in at an unconscious level. Nothing needed, you know, literally just a wireless thing. That he's working directly on this version that he is. I'm believing we're in the 7th sort of one here, and they end up just kind of doing away with him, which I don't really understand. Never mind, I do understand. So he took it upon himself to go ahead and do these things and create this creation of whatever he felt fit to be this perfect world, and what he was trying to do with the Wired, despite probably what the others wanted him to do or running anything by them. And then at a random point, he ended up disappearing and missing. Was he killed? Was he going crazy like the dude we saw kind of running off the tracks? Was he instead just kind of covering it up and acting as though he was dead because he no longer needed that, because he created a place for him to live in the Wired? I don't know, but we end up running into him likely here at the end, seemingly not dead at all, who I would make the assumption through creation and everything that he did, he's the god that we end up speaking to, and now we have to face him directly in his visible form, which is really intriguing. Absolute weird shit. I don't know. hopefully I got some of that, and hopefully some of that makes sense, and if it didn't, hopefully I pick up on a bunch more when I go back and edit. I think as we started going through the episode, it started becoming a little bit clear of the relevance that each of the things had onto it, but I still don't feel like I was grasping it at the same level that I wish I did. So hopefully I can go into that now within the edit, having the idea of what I believe is going on and seeing if that kind of matches up perfectly as I watch it play out almost in real time. So we'll end up seeing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it though. If you liked it all, like and subscribe. If you want to me, feel free to check out the videos in the channel, the comments of this series. I'll be back for episode 10 very soon. It was a great one. Peace.